anybody in Africa. I guess just to avoid trouble down the line, I'll check a box that excludes them. And that can lead to a real cantonization of content, even content provided by disparate user sources. Another example of filtering at the source, this is a search in the google.cn search engine, which only came online in January of 2006. And at the time that it did, Google was upfront about the fact that it would be filtering to get rid of material that the Chinese government might not like. One thing they did do, though, is if they get rid of something, they have this thing at the bottom that says, in accordance with local law, regulations, and government policies, a portion of search results are not shown. So it's letting you know that you don't know something, even though it's not telling you what you don't know. I co-founded an organization in 1998 called Chilling Effects, chillingeffects.org, the purpose of which is to allow people who have either received a request to take down information or who have taken down information for one reason or another to alert us that it has happened, because we want to know what we don't know. So people submit to Chilling Effects whenever they get a threat or a letter, even if they take the stuff down at the other site. And we have a long-standing arrangement with Google so that in google.com, when they take something down, particularly for copyright infringement claims, it will be forwarded over to us. So you can see all the stuff in google.com that copyright holders don't want you to see, at least the fact that they don't want you to see it. And of course, sometimes they come to Chilling Effects and say, we order you to take down our order, ordering them to take down your stuff, for which we say, this is a clinical project of the Harvard Law School, like, let's dance. So this is another example of filtering at the source. This is the Microsoft Spaces blog as customized for customers in China. We went in and titled a sample blog, I love freedom of speech, human rights, and democracy, which resulted in the following error. You must enter a title for your space. It can't contain profanity. Please type a different title. Now again, you can look at this with two layers. One layer is, wow, Microsoft has just called democracy profane. The other layer is, it's exactly tuned to be a very loud bark, but not much bite. We could title this something else, like My Thoughts on the World, and then actually, once we start making entries in the blog, use those as a title, and Microsoft does not filter it. So this might be a way to be able to show the officials, look, we're doing things, we're filtering, don't worry, when in fact, not really having a big effect. It didn't stop Microsoft from getting a lot of bad publicity for what they did. This is just one of the photos produced online in the wake of the revolution that they had configured things this way. As long as we're talking about this too, there have been accusations on the other side in the recent debates over Tibet. I received this email through the OpenNet initiative saying that they're concerned because pro-China videos they thought were being censored on YouTube. Well, they weren't claiming they were being blocked on YouTube, only that the counter was not incrementing quickly enough when they kept hitting reload on the page to make the number of people watching it go higher and higher. And we assured them that that was not a form of censorship, that was just to stop somebody from sitting around and hitting reload all day to make their video very popular. All right, so for the filtering we've talked about so far, you can see sources of information heading out to the world from places like the United States and Great Britain, and then other countries around the world asking people there, whether it's China or France or Germany, to make changes selectively towards their citizens, and a willingness at the source to do that. And to be fair too, there are times when the United States has been in this position, demanding, say, that Canada shut down websites that might have television programming on it that to replicate in the United States was thought to be illegal, even though not illegal to show in Canada. And they've even asked China to take down certain websites, including one called listenforever.com that had MP3 files of music on it. Now the United States is saying to China, please, you've got to stop shipping these bits out to the world. They are hurting us. So, all right, that's the selective filtering at the source. Let's talk a little bit about filtering more towards the destination. Because if China can't persuade somebody far away to self-censor, they are still, and China just as an example here, other countries do it too, about 50 around the world, they are in a position to filter closer to home where they control their own internet service providers. So for example, these are Jingjing and Cha-Cha, the internet police of the city of Shenzhen, and they're there to help you if you're in Shenzhen have a safe internet experience. They even have their own blog. This is one of the things I say on the blog. Please strictly limit your own behavior. Together we'll create a healthy internet environment and maintain harmonious internet order. See you often. A sort of ambiguous sign-off as to what their intentions are. And sure enough, there are plenty of frameworks whereby even the way that computers are positioned at a cyber cafe can make people avoid going to certain websites, because if they don't have a lot of privacy, they may worry that somebody passing by can see what they're up to. There are some times when China has gotten even more direct about it. In the fall of 2002, for a while, if you asked for Google.com, their control over the domain name system in China meant that they could just send you to the Beida University search engine and say, no, 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 this is Google. Why don't you search here instead? That didn't last very long, and now you either get to Google or you don't. You don't get to somewhere else, but there's Google.cn too. These are some results from the first tests we did of filtering around China. And what we would do is we would go to our own Google in America and type in, say, the word Tibet. And then for each result we got, we would test that in China to see if we could get there. And as you can see, this is again in 2002, all of the top 10 hits on Tibet filtered, over 60 of the top 100 filtered. And here are other words we tried, including words in Chinese characters like democracy, STDs, or justice. Here for STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, 6 out of the top 10 sites not available in China. We even then, as we started to add more countries, tried to come up with the sites that everybody hates. So these are sites banned both in China and Saudi Arabia. So marijuana, free live webcam, and often religion, particularly Christianity, gets blocked in multiple places at once. In Saudi Arabia, they are much more open about the fact that they filter. If you try to get to a website that is blocked, you're told, no, you can't get there, sorry. And in fact, they even maintain forms. So if you think there's a site that the Saudis should block, you can nominate it for a prize, for which, when you win, you get blocked. And if you feel you've earned the prize and you'd rather not accept it, you can fill out the form to unblock a website that you think has been unfairly blocked. In China, it's not this way at all. When you try to get to the website, you get no error at all. It just, the bits never arrive. And many officials, if you ask them, do you filter, they will simply say, no, we don't filter in China. Or what happens is many of our partners or the people here know that they have their own patriotic duty to avoid the spilling of state secrets or to allow socially harmful information, but no, we don't filter. Just to be fair, again, in the United States for a while, in an attempt to clamp down on child abuse images, the state of Pennsylvania asked Pennsylvania citizens who knew where child abuse images were online to fill out a form, including their name and address, and then say, here's where I found all the stuff, and then Pennsylvania would seek to have it taken down. Yeah, I'm not sure how popular this form was. We ended up coming up with a report about filtering worldwide called Access Denied. It just came out last month. Involved about $3 million of investment and several years of effort to produce this report. Our very first speaker mentioned Zimbabwe. I can't help but point out Zimbabwe reported on our own release in the official paper as Zimbabwe given the all clear on net censorship, which is not exactly true. What they did was they read our report and they thought it was a ranked list. So they said topping the list was Azerbaijan, then Bahrain, then China, then Ethiopia. Do you get the idea of how we ordered our list? So yes, it was alphabetical. So they said Zimbabwe was at the bottom, so they're great. I guess as long as they don't rename their country, they're going to come out in a good way on all of our future reports. Now, there's another aspect to censorship that I'm not going to talk a lot about here right now, but I just wanted to plant the seed, and it's actually the subject of the other book, The Future of the Internet and How to Stop It book with the train tracks, that a couple copies are floating around. And it says, you know, we care a lot about filtering within the network. If you can't get your bits from here to there, that's a problem. But we're on top of that. We're working on that problem, and there's circumvention mechanisms and other things to do. We kind of know the shape of that problem. But there's another problem, which is our endpoint devices. As we shift away from generically reprogrammable personal computers and move more and more when we're online to mobile phones and other platforms like iPhones, iPods, Xboxes, many video game